still have some firecrackers?
No, Bethany, those are Christmas lights.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 3 Geeks Flix. Joining me, as always, is the Muse, Justin Kyle. Say hello, everyone, Justin.
Hello, everyone.
Ah, yes, and of course, I am the Tech, Mitchell Wright. We are finally coming at you with our actual geeked, full, spoiler-full review of Captain America Civil War. So, if you haven't seen it, you don't want to know, turn it off now, because you have been warned.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Gonna look real quick, go through cast and whatnot and everything. Of course, this is a Russo brothers film. They directed it, starring Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Falcon, Don Cheadle as Lieutenant James Rhodes, War Machine, Jeremy Renner. See, I thought I wasn't going to screw it, but I did. But Jeremy Renner, Clint Barton, Hawkeye, Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa, Black Panther, Paul Bettany as The Vision, Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang or Ant-Man, Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter, which is the niece of Agent Carter, so just in case everybody doesn't know. Tom Holland as Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Daniel Bruhl as Zemo. Frank Grillo making that brief cameo as Brock Rumlow or Crossbones. William Hurt as the Secretary of State Thaddeus Ross, reprising the role of Thaddeus Ross. Martin Freeman as Everett K. Ross. And, of course, Marissa Tomei as the lovely May Parker. The loveliest Aunt May, if you ask me. Just saying. She's got it going. But anyways, enough of that. As I always do, I look to you, good news, and say, Justin, give it to me. What you got?
Okay, so I don't know if it was our last video. It may be our last one. What was our last video we made? It was our
last video was Star Trek.
Star Trek. So we got into it a little bit regarding Marvel and their track record, and we were talking about how it's pretty much irrefutable for any other studio to hold a candle up to Marvel.
Correct.
And we didn't want to get into it too much because you hadn't seen Civil War at that point.
Right.
So now we can talk about it. It feels good. We want to talk about this for decades. It's a great movie. This is my second favorite Marvel film so far in any phase, right under the first Avengers. The first Avengers was revolutionary. It changed everything. It was done so well. It's just right under there. So I can't say enough how much I enjoyed this film. Almost universally, it's been praised by fans and critics alike. So again, no studio can touch them.
Absolutely. This was definitely knocking on the door for my number one. It's right there at number two. Like you, Avengers was game changing. Was shattering to the film industry. It was something new, something that hadn't been done. A lot of people didn't think that could be done.
Right.
And was done masterfully. The whole film itself was great from start to finish. I didn't feel any lull. I didn't feel any low points or anything like that. Wonderfully shot. Great storyline. people you didn't see. They let you know why you didn't see them, but they hinted towards them. Love the new faces. Absolutely excited to see more on Black Panther, Spider-Man. Great tie-in with, Carter, the niece, and everything, and Steve's relationship. Also, the dynamic of Bucky and everything, and the group kind of split, but kind of not. And then the big plot twist, which we'll talk about, of course, a little further down. But when we look at these geek reviews, they do a little different as far as we're going to look at story, we're going to look at effects, video, then we'll look at sound, and we'll wrap it up. So, Justin, go ahead on story. Give me your thoughts.
So you just said the Peggy's granddaughter? Niece. Okay, so Peggy's niece. Now, it seems fitting because they have great chemistry. I think, personally, their relationship seems really realistic to me for some reason. It's just like, I don't know if it's a chemistry thing or they're both really good actors, but, Captain America, obviously, he isn't the innocent dog that he says he is, because he's going after the niece of his first girl.
yeah, that's kind of like
essentially,
that's
right?
Nasty.
I don't think she knows. I mean, obviously, hopefully, she doesn't know that. Him and Peggy were kind of talking. They were almost going steady. They were almost holding hands.
They were at the doorstep.
That is correct. So yeah, that was one of my. Now, when you leave the theater, you don't really remember that because of everything else that exploded in your mind.
Exactly.
But that was really cool. I'm glad that's the stuff, the little stuff like that makes it Captain America: Civil War.
Right.
Story-wise, this is the antithesis of Batman v Superman. They're about the exact same amount of runtime, yet the pacing of this story, the decisions with the story, the introducing all of these new characters, it never felt bloated. It felt really smooth, like something that's really smooth that you're drinking. I don't know.
Unbelievable. A new low. I'm so ashamed.
Batman v Superman, to compare it, it's kind of like eating a gallon-size tub of like Spam or something. You just eat too much of it, and it's nasty to begin with in comparison to the smooth thing that you're drinking. That's a terrible comparison.
That's weird.
But the story was great. It was great. Again, the parallel is they had ideological differences between Stark and Captain America. So they presented both of those logically to the audience, and you could see both sides of them. Again, if you look in comparison to especially Batman v Superman, they ended up ultimately fighting because Lex Luthor kidnapped Superman's mom. I mean, that's a terrible way to have them start fighting in a movie entitled Batman v Superman, right? This is they could not have handled the the philosophical differences, the acting that implied those differences in opinions, the actual consequences of those. They could not have done this better.
Right.
Out of the park.
Absolutely. Story-wise, some of the little things that they throw in there are great, but some of the big things, especially like, the philosophical differences, the build-up, the tension, the teams forming, and then your showdown at the airport in Berlin.
Right.
And, a lot of people don't know, Spider-Man, he had a lot bigger role in that. He had more lines. He had, like I think, 7 or 8 more lines in the time he was in the movie compared to all the lines that Superman had in Batman vs. Superman. I mean, that's wild. That's wild. And to go on with it, not only was that not the climax, and that you got to see Ant-Man really show it off. You got to see
Black Panther
showing off his skills.
Yeah.
Exactly, and all those, and especially Spider-Man. We had a lot more Spider-Man than we ever knew we were going to have.
Right.
And that was awesome that you got that in there.
Right.
And that they brought some of these, what would feel like secondary characters, and really let them shine in those scenes was fantastic, was well done. But then again, your old tried and true Avengers, they were real staples. And the thing I liked about it is allegiances were allegiances for a time until situations and things changed. And then when Bucky and Cap were trying to get on that plane out of the airport to go to Russia to hunt down Zemo, it was so awesome how that all worked. And the whole fact that Vision was trying to shoot Falcon out of the sky, and Vision got distracted because he was worried about Wanda being hurt, because he's kind of got a thing for Wanda.
Right.
Falcon zips, moves out of the way, and he accidentally hits War Machine, and hence he is paraplegic and whatnot, and just that whole thing had him frustrated. And I love the fact that Tony goes to RAF, that floating prison, and he kind of screws with the audio, and he talks to Falcon, and he's like, "Look, I found out I was wrong. What's going on?" And see, at that point, you're almost like, well, then how the hell are they going to start fighting again? And then that plot twist where Zemo shows him, you keep seeing that scene to where in 1991, Bucky, as Winter Soldier, ran that car off the road and got that package of those 4 pouches from the back. You never see who's driving until the end, and you see that was Tony Stark's parents, and that while Bucky was brainwashed, he killed them.
Right.
And then there was a snap. The whole time, Black Panther was out for revenge because he thought that Bucky had killed his dad at the UN. But there's that huge plot twist, and it snaps. Right. And boy, that fight scene between the 3 of them was freaking awesome. Right. Was an amazingly paced, well choreographed, well scripted fight scene. The best I believe I have seen thus far in any movie.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the first time when you're watching it, it was handled so well, and this is why. Because the first time I watched it, when it showed the Winter Soldier on that first mission, whenever he just takes out that car, it wasn't over-the-top blowing up action. It wasn't anything. There was no reason for them to show that, I felt like, at the time. So after it's over, it's like, why did they show me this? This seems like it's completely irrelevant, right? But then when you go back and then they turn it on its head, you're like, oh my God, that was genius, right?
That was absolute genius. And then I really enjoyed the fact that after everything's over and done and whatnot, Steve still puts his hand out. And, in back of his head, Tony's thinking about it now, and he's like, okay. And so they've set the stage for the next phase and for Infinity Wars and for the group to recombine over time.
One of my favorite moments was after they fought, because, I think it's still unfair to say in the debate who would win, Iron Man or Captain America, because number one, Captain America did have the Winter Soldier fighting for him, so that wasn't just a one-on-one fight. But we did find out that it would not be an easy fight for Iron Man, for sure.
No.
So that's awesome, because Captain America, he's bad. He's about as bad as they can come when hand-to-hand. So I did like, one of my favorite parts at the end is right after when Cap cracks his repulsor. In
his arc reactor, yeah.
Yeah, he's walking away, and then Stark says, "You don't deserve that. My father made that." It wasn't an epic thing. He was like, he just threw down the shield. He's like, fine. I don't know how to interpret that. It's either like, you're right, I don't care anymore, or like, you're right, I don't know. Like,
you know what? Yeah, your dad made that. I'm not going to argue with it on it. I'm going to drop it. It's yours. And
I think he was either like thinking, I'm indifferent and you're right, I could care less, or look what just happened, I'll give you that. Like, he's trying to be a better person.
And then he's going to earn it back over time.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he was like the right, because it's Captain America. He's about as good as hard as any of them combined. Yeah. But I think he was more like, this is not a good time for me to be any more confrontational. I'll just let him have this one,
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, moving along, visuals. Give it to me.
Okay, so it's a paradox. It really is, and that's one of my favorite words.
Yes, it is.
So, like, the action is so crazy and over the top. I mean, you have an 80-foot Ant-Man, which now again, this was the other thing. If I keep comparing this to Batman v Superman, because again, and I apologize, I'm not focusing on that, but I'm trying to emphasize how awesome Marvel is, especially to what else is out there. Even in the marketing, We had no idea that Ant-Man was going to become giant.
Mm-mm.
With the Spider-Man thing, this was the opposite of what Batman v Superman did with the Doomsday tease. We when we saw that, we were like, oh, they just ruined it. Why did they say that?
And they
did the opposite. They gave us a little teaser and let us get our hopes down. So we were like, yeah, he's just going to make a little cameo. And he was in there more, like you said, he had more dialogue than Superman. I mean, visually, it's a paradox because they have all this crazy action, but it's so fluid, and it doesn't seem like it's so hard to do. I mean, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of, handheld. It was fluid scenes, camera shots, the action, the epicness of it. It was great.
Oh, yeah. And it never felt overly CGI. It felt very grounded, but it was very... there was still beauty in it. There was beauty in the simplicity of it, and the scenes, and the use of the CGI, and it was done, like you said, fluidly and flawlessly.
Right. I think what helped is, and you have to give it to the Russos, they had the epic, because you can't really say there's an 80-foot Ant-Man without saying it's CGI, right? So they had to deal with that.
Right.
But think about the actual gritty, hand-to-hand combats with, like, Black Panther, Cap, Civil War. Those were awesome.
Absolutely.
Those were like if you combine Batman v Superman with Jason Bourne. That's what they look like.
Exactly. And in those action CGI scenes, you didn't feel like that the motion and the movement of the character at the time was overly distended or extended or anything like that. You felt like that the body would naturally move that way. And they paid attention to those details, so is well done. Very well done.
Visually. Now here's the thing though. If I have to say just visually, the best, like, crazy visual Marvel movie, in my opinion, is still Age of Ultron. Because the visuals on that, some of the shots that Whedon came up with, just visually, I think that's my favorite.
Right. I can understand. But I did find beauty in the simplicity and the fact that they paid attention to the detail, and they didn't get overly Michael Bay on us.
Absolutely.
Just to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then, as far as the sound and the music, sir.
Okay, so in my opinion, Marvel really has two weaknesses. Number one, they only have one Class A villain. That would be Loki up to this point. I'm talking a great villain, like comparable to like the Joker, Heath Ledger, comparable to other things, right? In my opinion. They only have Loki. So the other one is the music. Their music, they don't emphasize their music as much as I wanted to. If they put as much emphasis as someone like the DC universe, because you got to give it to DC. When they get Hans Zimmer, they have their own themes. Even if you don't like them or not, they have a lot of attention to detail. Marvel has always kind of lacked in the music department to me. It's not that it's bad, but it didn't meet the rest of the movie, so it kind of supported it. But it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
The music was good.
I agree. You had the good old. We all know the Avengers theme, the music when we hear it, like, oh yeah, that's the Avengers theme. That was good. And I mean, other stuff complemented it well within there. It was nothing earth-shattering or game-changing or anything like that, but it was good.
It was good.
I can't say anything bad about it. I can't say anything that was absolutely memorable music-wise, other than
that's
the theme.
I mean. So like, yeah, it wasn't memorable. It was supportive. It was good, and it was fitting.
Absolutely. All right. Well, given that good news, what is your verdict?
9.75.
9.75. Awesome. Are you sure?
Here's the thing. The first Avengers is a 10 because it changed filmmaking moving forward. This, I don't think it's really... I can't see how it's going to change anything. That I am adamant that because I know so many people that throw out 10s everywhere. And that's a big pet peeve of mine because I think in my criteria, they have to make a difference in the industry. Do I think this makes a difference in the industry that's comparable to the Avengers? No. The first Avengers is something that's never been done. Now, this took that concept and it polished it more, it elevated it more, but that's like saying what was more revolutionary, the iPhone 5 or the first iPhone? So the first iPhone I gave a 10, this I'll give a 9.75.
Okay. I had a little more time to think about it. I know we talked about it last night, and I was just blown away, fanboy, big time. Given a little more time to talk about it, it is a 9.95. It's almost a 10, but it's a 9.95. It's right there on the doorstep.
Right.
But it all around, it is a fantastic and great movie. It just didn't have that one element to just blow the top off everything.
So what was that one element?
Some of it was, most of it was the music. The music and the sound. If they would have paid a little more attention to detail on the soundtrack, and especially for like individuals and whatnot, and they had those main themes and anthems that came in.
Do you know who the composer was? Do you know who the composer was?
No, I do not.
Do you know who the composer was for Batman v Superman?
Who was it? Hans?
Yes. There's a difference. They go after world class, but we don't even know who the composer was for this.
No.
That's the thing. So if they would have, imagine if Hans Zimmer or any world class that you could think, if they would have.
Yeah, and Disney Marvel has the money to throw at them.
That's correct.
And I mean, it's not that the Avengers theme's not awesome. It's not that we don't love it and that we don't enjoy it. I could tell you right now, I can hear those DC themes off the top of my head. I can hear many of the other DC themes off the top of my head.
Right.
But
you remember the Joker's theme?
Yeah.
You remember,
Other than the Avengers theme, there is no one individual Marvel hero that I cannot just start humming for you right off the top of my head.
Right. That's the same way. And again, it's not bad. It's not
No, it's not bad at all. It's good. But it's not great.
Right. There you go.
And
Couldn't have said it better. And by the way, I do want to point out, when you say that you can remember a lot of the DC themes, that doesn't mean that they're good either. Because I remember the Wonder Woman's theme, and that's a terrible theme.
Yeah, that theme. Yeah, that theme kind of aggravates me. Yeah, I don't feel it. Not feeling it.
Yeah.
Give Wonder Woman the theme and the respect she deserves. That's all I got to say about that.
That's correct.
All right. Well, good Muse. I think we've wrapped it up there on that one. You agree?
I feel good about this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You feel great. You feel wonderful.
Yeah, I think we've made a difference in the world. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Feel like you made a difference? Makes yourself feel a little better? Feel like you could rule the world? Huh?
I got the rumblies and my tumblies.
What'd you eat? No, don't tell us. We don't need to know. We don't need to know. And to quickly get away from that, check us out on Facebook. 3 Geeks Flix. Give us a like. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you want to see. Get in contact with us. We're also on YouTube at the number 3 Geeks Flix, Flix. Follow us, troll us, talk to us. Reach out and touch the Muse, not me. Because he's down with that. Yeah, you are. Oh, and then, of course, so you can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe. It's not hard. Sign up. Subscribe. Leave some comments, some feedback. Maybe we'll have you on a Geek Speak, ladies and gentlemen. We still do those. If you get involved, you talk to us. We could have you on, share some thoughts. Little FaceTime on here. Of course, not FaceTime. It'd be Skype. You have to have Skype.
Right.
There's Skype, but there's a blatant advertisement for you, and we can have you on, and you can be that third geek.
And if you really like it, we'll have you on again and again and again.
Indeed, be that third geek. Let it be known we are here for you. And that's pretty much all I have.
Okay.
I don't have any kind of epic music I can put after that or anything. It's kind of like a Marvel film.
Ooh.
But not bad, but it's still good.
I'll take that.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, again, like I always say, stay tuned to the glow of those monitors. So we're going to catch you next time. Good night.
Okay.
All right. But what you need to do is you need to set the mood. Should fix her something nice. And you need to put on some mood some music for the mood, and I think this would be perfect. You know.
I like this angle better because it's easier for my arms. It's just like I can rest my arm here.
Well,
That's why
it's magical.
the angle.
Yes.
Alright.
You're quite majestic. I have strong feelings about it.
Obviously.
Real passionate.
You are getting really good at this. I gotta say, if I was right next to you, I would slowly caress your shoulder.
How was your day?
I think another thing, I'm just gonna ignore your question.
I am your host, Spanky Von Sparkelson. Emphasis on the Spanky. Feeling the moment.
Oh yeah.
That's right. This is pants are not required music. He sits alone.
You can't smile.
Oh,
See?
okay. You ready? He sits alone. God, you sit alone, you...
I'm gonna add that to the contract for being the third geek. Whenever we go outside for this, you're gonna have to read a scene. We're gonna make a scene, you're gonna have to read it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, but you're gonna do it.
So when you get in there, things get real heated, the petting's getting heavy, the clothes are starting to get real loose. You're looking into each other's eyes, and all of a sudden it comes in.
I'll try that. I don't know how long that's gonna go over.
You know, if that doesn't work, then you can always just play the go-to music when something like that's going down. Because, I mean, no woman can resist this song.
If you're about to get a drunk abroad at a bar, they play that song, everyone hugs it out. It's cool. For probably like the first 5 or 6 times I heard that song, I wasn't sure if the singer was a male or female. He could kind of be like one of those like Savage Garden singers, that they're male, literally, but on the inside, you know. I want to stand with you in the ocean. That's all I'm gonna say. Swim with you on a mountain.
What? That doesn't even happen.
What, swimming on mountains?
Yes!
Yeah.
I'm ready now.